You know, I like my Xbox quite a bit with its nice big library of games to offer. It definitely has its issues, updating its improvements to the dashboard being one of them. But meanwhile, behind enemy lines at Sony Entertainment's Wonder Monolith system, the PS3, it's looking pretty green on that side of the fence. I know that Sony gives a lot of support for IndieCade at both E3 last year and the event that I went to this year, so it's no surprise that Sony had a nice big booth to show off with a large range of games. But to my biggest surprise, the Unfinished Swan made an appearance at this little extra booth. I was there mostly for the IndieCade finalists and the selection, but I had to get my hands on this and try it out. What makes this little PlayStation exclusive unique, you may or may not ask? Well, take a look! Yep. The entire game is about splattering paint around a completely white world to navigate your way through the game. It was a big hit at last year's E3 when it finally came on the radar through mainstream attention. It was developed by the new company Giant Sparrow Studios and picked up for publishing by Santa Monica Studios, the same company that developed the God of War trilogy and helped publish most of the games by that game company, including Flow, Flower, and Journey. So yeah, all that mainstream force behind this little title may be pushing the indie label a bit, but for something as unique as this, I'm not gonna be picky. The game's story is about a boy whose mother passes away, and the only thing she leaves behind is an unfinished painting of a swan. The swan gets out of the painting and into a fictional world, so the boy pulls an Alice in Wonderland to follow the swan. Hopefully no photo whacking included. As you splatter your way through the game, you'll find hints as to what the Wonderland has to offer. You see paintings of the king and his castle, along with several different statues of various animals. This is where you learn more about the world's story and what the king has to do with the world. The controls are pretty simple. You move in a first-person view where any of the trigger buttons can launch a little black paint blob. The first level is a lot of trial and error to figure out the right path you want to take to get from point A to point B. But to help you go along, your swan friend who you're chasing after left a little trail of golden footprints behind to help you follow his path as a nice subtle hint. Then it's strangely satisfying to see your trail of paint all over the world. Yay, vandalism! Also, the entire game isn't just this one demo level where you're just trying to splatter your way about and trying to figure out where you are, but the second level when you get into the city allows you to do many more different things, like throwing water on different plants to add more puzzles and variety to the game. There have been a few comparisons to other indie games and kind of splatter paint games such as Tag the Power of Paint or even The Blob. There seems to be a lot more mystery going on with the Unfinished Swan. It has a much more different kind of almost creepy and surreal tone to it. It's also much more story-driven, where it's looking at a child kind of dealing with death and dealing with the past. Although unrelated, it's a bit ironic to point out that Ni no Kuni, another PlayStation exclusive, is only going to be released 3 months from now in late January. The story of that game is also about a child who loses his mother and is whisked away into this magical world. I know it might be a bit of a stretch, but it's kind of a neat coincidence how two games are dealing with essentially the same subject matter in completely different ways. I can also see the Unfinished Swan being much more accessible to a much larger audience. It's not really violent at all, it's not really aggressive, it's just kind of a casual experience. It's one of those cool kind of hardcore games that you can still recommend to a casual audience. So, if you're interested in the Unfinished Swan at all, it is going to be a PSN exclusive. The game will be available for everybody on October 23rd, but if you're subscribed to PlayStation Plus, you can get it on October 16th, so right now. From what I've played, it looks like a great original title from a newly formed company that could be the next great PS3 gem all the kiddies are talking about. At least the cool cats who have a PS3 these days.